So the first thing is for Isaac is raising hand. Okay, Isaac, go on. Isaac, you're raising hand. Okay, maybe it's a mistake. So the first thing we're going to do is to install Node in our, let me bring this up here. Good. You can see my screen, right? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Good, good. So the first thing you want to do is to install Node, because we'll be using Node modules, right? For the beginners, you have not done anything before in your system. You just want to start afresh, So the first thing, you have to install Node modules, this node.js. Why is it blank? Good. So it will bring you to this this page, and if you're using Mac, like as I'm using now, all you just need to do is to use Mac install. Then if you're using Windows, look at it, just click here, right? If you're using Linux, you click on, just select, is quite easy. So I now have selected Windows, so you click Window Installer, you see it has brought out Window Installer for me. So this is what you should be clicking, right? Now now take note of this, please. For those who are using Windows, if you are using Windows and your system is 32-bit, 32-bit is not actually existing again. System with 32-bit, I doubt if it's still in the market. Anyone still using it, but nonetheless, for you to know the kind of bit your system have, for Windows, just go to my computer and right click and then click on property. I believe so. Click on property. Everything on that system will show, and it will show you whether it's 64-bit or 32-bit. Now, if it's 32-bit, you click on 84, x84. Sorry, 86. I'm sorry. Don't forget, if it's 32-bit, click on this. So you select this and then download. Then if it's 64-bit, which is the normal system we now currently have, all from I think from Windows 7. So if you're using Windows 7 upward, your system's literally using 64-bit. Uses Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11, so your system's using 64-bit, so you select this. Now for Linux, if you're using Linux, you click. So for Mac, if you're using Mac and you are using the M series, then you use this. Take note, if you're using M series, you use, when I mean M series, MacBook M1, M2, M3 to M4. Then if you're using the Intel series, you use this X64. Take note of that. So then you download. Once you click, it will download, and then follow the installation. No stress, just do next until it's installed. And when you are done installing, let me bring up my, sorry. I want to bring, now you look, you go to your terminal. That's how you know if your node has just installed. You go to your terminal. For Windows, it's called command prompt. Please take note, when you install Node comes with its own command prompt. It is not that Node command prompt you'll be using, right? For Windows, go to your system, just go to your Windows. So I can't really do that because I'm using Mac. For majority persons who are using Windows, click on your window, then just type in command prompt. Windows command prompt will come in, right? And then you can type in node -- or you can just say -v. That is version. Then if you want to put the whole version, you put hyphen version, which is, sorry, not dash, but hyphen. So node hyphen v will give you your version. If you don't see this, it means that there's no node in your system. Am I making sense, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So now we have installed Node. The next thing we are now going to install is our VS Code, because we are going to be using VS Code to actually write our Playwright. So we'll just go to VS Code download. So you get your VS Code, and so VS Code is also very, very seamless. It's not difficult to install. For those who are using Windows, you have your Windows 10 and Windows 11. I don't think anyone is still using Windows 8 currently. I think the least we have today in our systems is Windows 10. So you have your Windows 10 and Windows 11. Then for those who are using Linux, you now for Mac. For those who are using Mac, you click on Mac. So once you just click it to download, and just like Node, all you don't need to do is next, and that will be all. So once that happens, you are going to have your VS Code open for you, right? So I want to open a VS Code. So can you all see my VS Code, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So this side to come up, welcome, to just open new, nothing inside. So once you see this, you can now close this welcome. Now, the next thing we'll now do, excuse me, is to create a folder that we're going to be running our applications with, right? So let me close this. So you can just create it on your desktop, as I am doing. Though personally, I like my desktop clean, so I will just go to my document and create it. But for training purpose, right? So, and possibly for you to easily have access to it, you could put it in your desktop. So I want to create this. I'll right click, new folder, similar thing too for Windows. Someone is raising hand, please. So your hand is up. Let me
Yes.
entertain your
Good,
question.
good,
Yeah.
good afternoon, Sam. Good afternoon.
Thank,
Thank you for the lectures. Good afternoon
thank
so
you.
much. Okay,
Mhm.
so I just wanted to confirm, can we use any other editor aside the
Oh,
VS Code,
yes,
like
yes,
IntelliJ and the likes? Yeah.
yes. Yeah,
Okay,
you can use any editor that you are familiar with. You can use brackets. There are so many of them, right? But VS Code is quite most popular, and it has a lot of dependency you can easily install. But if there's anyone you are using that you are familiar with, right, you can use it.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I will create a folder here, new folder. It's the same process for Windows too. So I will just rename it. What do I name it? Let me say Ernst training. I'll say Ernst API training. Good. Please, you can just name it anything that just you want to name it. So here I will bring back my VS Code that I've just installed. So there's nothing open at this point. So I'll go to File and Open Folder, right? I'll go to Open Folder and go to Desktop. I can see the empty folder. Remember, the folder is completely empty. There's nothing inside the folder. So I will click it, select it, and click Open. Now, at this point, it's welcoming me to the folder, so I'll just close it. At this point, you can now see that a folder is open. I believe we can all see the folder name that I named it, right? So everything we put inside this folder from here will literally just go to this place and wait for us. Okay, so that is for our VS Code. So now we will start putting things inside um the the folder, and we'll be able to run our script at the end of the day. So the first thing we are going to do after we've installed the VS Code, created this folder. Now, if you look at here, you go to your terminal. You see your terminal. I want to be saying, just hold on. Yeah. Okay. Nice, this one. Good. So you look at terminal, you see new terminal. Then if you want to use shortcuts, I think for Windows is Control J, for Mac is Command J. Terminal will come up. I'm going to close this Copilot. I'm not going to use Copilot. So, and Command J removes it. Control J, Command J. Control J from Windows, Command J for Mac. So this brings it up, and this removes it. Now you can see, come here manually, terminal, and create new terminal. This terminal is where we'll be writing our want to carry out any installations or run our code. This is where we'll come to do that. So the first thing we are going to do is to initialize. Now let's go to Playwright documentation. Very, very important, so that you don't just take my word for it. So I'll say Playwright documentation. So let's see what Playwright has to tell us. Get started. Perfect. So we have installation here. They've told us define what Playwright is. Here, Playwright test was created specifically to accommodate the needs for end-to-end testing, blah, blah, blah. Now, what we want to go for is this installation using npm or yarn. So if you're using yarn, you say yarn, or you just yarn create Playwright. npm is, I'm using npm for the purpose of this testing training. So an npm is still very, very okay, which is, I will encourage you, advise you to use it at this beginner's level, right? There's literally no difference. Most of my tests I use npm, some too I use yarn. So there's literally no difference. It just depends whichever you want to use. So for npm, this is what they are instructing us. So they have documentation, and you have to follow suit according to their documentation. You don't go outside it. So the first thing we're going to do is Playwright with init. What this means is that this will initialize Playwright for us, create all the folders and dependencies we need to write our code. Unlike Selenium, that this is one issue why a lot of persons are moving out from Selenium, because you get everything you need in bits. Cypress and Playwright handles all that, creates all the folders and dependencies you need inside one folder, and it makes your run seamless and less heavy. So we'll just copy this. You come here and copy it. So let's go back to our terminal and paste. Control V. Already have it here, right? npm init Playwright latest. Now we explain why we have that latest. If we just do npm init Playwright, what it will do is that it will initialize the Playwright for us, but there are a lot of folders that will not come in with it, like the test folders that you will be using to run your script. It means you just have to manually start creating those things. Your browsers, you now have to manually install it and all that. So, but once you put npm init Playwright at latest, it does all of that for you. It just asks you some few questions, which you answer, and it creates everything for you. So let's hit and see what comes up. Now it's asking me, you want to use TypeScript or want to use JavaScript? Naturally, I use TypeScript to write my script, but for the purpose of this training, a lot of persons are beginners. Of course, before you can move to TypeScript, you must have gone through JavaScript and then to TypeScript. So I will select JavaScript, right? Because we'll be writing this automation on JavaScript, which is the first level. Now it's asking me where to put your end-to-end test. Want to put it inside test, right? So I will just click my tab, which you can see what is going on. Immediately I click my tab, that test become highlighted, and I'll click enter. Now it's asking me again, add a GitHub. No, I'm not adding a GitHub because this is for training. I'm not sending it to GitHub repository. So I'll click N, which is false. Then install Playwright browser. Yes, I want to install Playwright browser. Now, what happens if I say no? It means that I have to manually, which is what I said earlier, I have to manually go and use an nps Playwright. Okay, so even here, npm Playwright install. That is the command that will install all the different browsers that Playwright gives you, which is one advantage of Playwright. Playwright gives you the opportunity to actually work with different browsers, Chrome, Firefox, and the likes, at the same time. So you can be testing different browsers for every test that you write. Playwright is very handy with that. So I want it to be true, so I'll type Y. Is now installing that for me. Good. It has finished installing. It's now downloading the different browsers. We are good. So it depends on your system, how fast your system is and all that. It's good, and your internet too. So it just does that, but literally it's not heavy. So it's something that happens within few seconds or minutes. So you can see what I was saying. We now have our test, right? Here, and it has given us an example of the test here. Now let's look at something. But now we are going to run this test and see. It's just quite, if you look at it, it's quite a small test, right? So we're going to run it and see how it was. But before we run it, we are going to set something in our script, right? So if you go through what it says here, we suggest that you begin by typing nps Playwright test and all that. So that actually runs your script. But personally, I like to use my script. I like to configure my my script here. So what I mean is my custom way of running it, the test that I put when I want to run. So I will like I use npm against npm. Once you configure this, you can now use npm against npx, right? So I can say API. I like very simple thing that I can just type, so npm API. You can call it anything. You can call it test. You can call it API run, whichever name you want to give it here. So once you call any name you put here, that is the name you call. Take note of that. So this is the script that actually runs that. So you say Playwright test. So once this is called, right? Once this is called, it actually performs the script which runs your test. Am I making sense, please? So
Yes,
for us to, good, let me clear this. Here's messy. So you just type clear for Mac. So I want to type in now npm run. Then run what? This script, the name I put here. So you can put any name here. Take note of that. The name I put here is API. So I like the name short. This is why I customize it. I like putting short words. So if we do this, it will run the script for me. You can see that it is running the script. We have not automated. This is the script that came by default, right? Which it is running. So Good. So now it has finished running. We have 6 pass. Good. We have 6 pass, and we have our report. For you to click on the report, let's check at our report. Do we have? No, not yet. Reporter. Here is quite messy. Our playwright don't config. So I naturally like removing all these comments, so I could see what I want to look for easily. Now, let me close this. I'll come back to it. Now, if you look at here, this config, now let's go to the config, the playwright.config.js. We have, like I said before, Playwright gives you, so the test we ran actually gave us 6 pass. So you can see our test pass, right? Is here. We ran 6 tests and the 6 of them passed. So now going back to the config, what happens here is that all of these, okay, all of these will run. So I think that is even what happened here. Oh, we have 6 because let me check the, how many tests do we have here? Okay, I get what happened. So we have 2 tests here, but we are having 6 run. Why is that? Because each of these browsers ran each of the 2 tests. So if you see here now, we have 2 tests. We explain this. I'm not actually going to be working with this. I will write our own test and we'll see what happens. So this is one test and this is another test. So which you can see here. So we have 2 tests. But what happened here, why are we seeing 6 instead? Is because Playwright installed different browsers for us. So each of those two tests ran in different browsers, giving us a cumulation, a total of 6. Do we understand, please? So normally, if you are automating UI, where you are visually seeing this automation, clicking and all that, it's kind of confusing. It now depends on you. As much as browsers that you want to run, you can add them. That is, but if you want just one browser to run, you can then remove the remaining one. Let's assume I just want to use only Chrome. Are you getting me? So it means I can remove or comment. To comment is control /, and for Mac is command /. This is comment. What do you mean by commenting in programming? Commenting means that code you have commented is not going to run. Commenting is actually a way of making a code not run, right? Or is used most importantly to explain a particular lines of code that you have written, so that when others you are not the only one who will be maintaining the code, or you can leave the code tomorrow, or the code can be shifted to another person tomorrow. So with that comment, those comments, the person will be able to read in between and say, okay, this is what this person is trying to say. It's not actually big word. Could just write 1 or 2 lines that all this code behind, this is what is doing and all that. So comment is very, very handy in programming. So that line that you have commented does not run in code when the code is running. I hope I'm making sense. So you can comment it or you can just delete it if you know you are not going to need it eventually. So for the purpose of this test, we are not going to need this. So you can see all of these lines. These are all commented, and so that is the comment. Also, all these ones are just to explain what this is all about, right? Okay. So if I run this test again, npm run API. Remember, where is this API coming from? It's not magic. I put it here. Any name I put here is what I will call here, right? So you don't go and put API in yours and then you start throwing error. Meanwhile, it's something else that is here. Just understand that. So now you can see 2 tests running exactly. Good. The two tests has passed. So that is this for us. So the next thing we'll now be looking at is somebody raising hand? Somebody is raising hand.
Yes,
Okay.
so
Okay.
I wanted to ask, please. Your screen is kind of not too clear on my end, but I was following through this
Oh,
your packing.json that you where you imputed the
script.
script for API.
Mhm.
Was it directly on that script or does it matter? You know, we have yours is showing, I think I'm seeing debug script, then you inputted
Oh,
API. I
no,
can
no, 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 no. That is just that. Leave this debug. It's not in there. This is script, right?
okay. I
This
think
is
I've seen
script.
it.
This is script. Is inside. So this script is an object. Wait, let me show you how it comes. This is how it comes, right? It's an empty
Oh,
object.
okay. It was inside the parentheses, right?
Script is
Okay,
inside the parentheses.
okay,
Yes.
that's I made a mistake. Thank you, sir. Okay.
You're welcome. Welcome. So I'll return it. Control Z. Good. Any other question, please? Okay. So now we now have to start writing our API. So the API we'll be looking at here is uh, I have a very simple API that I want us to use. So I have QA test graph. I have a testing playground that I developed. So, and this is how you access it. When you come to QA test graphs and you go to testing, so you have UI. I believe you can all see my screen. This is how you access the testing playground. Anybody can use it. All of you can use it. So just come here and carry out. So it's an e-commerce, though it's still under development. There are some things that are still I'm still working on, but we can actually use the API because I created the API separately and also the UI. So once you click on testing, UI practice, and then e-commerce, it brings you to the e-commerce website that I also developed for exclusively for testing. This is not a live e-commerce application. So what happens there? What I did is that I use a mock API. When we talk about mock APIs, we talk about APIs that are not actually that are mimicking original APIs, right? So it does not. I don't have server for it. So the every information here is not stored in database. I'm not paying for the database. The only thing I paid for is for the host name and of course the UI UX that designed this website for me. So that these are the things I paid for. And this one is just me designing this using mock servers and mock APIs. JD, you have your hands up.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear the last part. You said there's no database attached to it. Is that what you said?
That's what I'm saying. That I use mock database,
Okay,
not
sorry.
real database, right? So the difference, and that's what I'm trying to explain the differences. So the difference between mock database and the real database is that, of course, for the real one, you already understand how it works. You have to work with maybe AWS and the likes that your information will be going to, and you pay for. Please, can we mute and then you pay for it. But for the mock server that I'm using, I actually don't I mimic things that are original, that are right, the APIs that are, oh, sorry, the server that is real, right? So you will be working it to be as if everything is just like, but they are mocked. So what happens is when we are testing the APIs, you cannot the response you'll be getting will be streamlined to what I've already set from my own end. Good. So you cannot send to real email because there's no email database anywhere. So that's the difference. The OTP is falling back to you. It's not being stored anywhere. Your information is not going anywhere. Once you just log in, it logs you in. So that's it. So let's look at how it works in the UI. This is it. Any name, so long as it follows the email protocol, you log in. So considering the fact that, like I said, this by default, this is supposed to send you to send OTP, this OTP to the email, but I use mock data because this is exclusively for testing. So, and if I don't do that, what will happen is that a lot of persons will come here because they are doing testing. They are hitting my database. I'll be paying. That's it. So AWS doesn't care whether it's for testing or anything. They'll be billing me in thousands of dollars, So the best way I can handle that is to use mock data. So this OTP does not go to that email you sent. Even if you put your original email, it does not go there. That's what I'm trying to say. So it mimics what happens in real life, right? And because this OTP does not go there, what do I now do? For those who will be doing manual testing, I said, okay, let me bring it out to the front end. Ordinarily, this is not right. Please take note. And this is the reason. So I'm explaining why you are seeing this OTP. Ordinarily, you don't do this. But because this is a mock data for testers, and people will be doing manual testing, right? So I have to sample the API, the OTP for them to use. So once you use this OTP, I don't know if it has expired now. While I was explaining, it has expired. So you can just reset. So you reset and you can copy it and put it here and verify code. Once that code is verified, it logs you in. You can see you now see log out. It picks that name you use for your email and then welcomes, just use the word Sam. So now you can log out. The UI is not actually why I'm here. I'm here for the API. So we'll see our testing doc and we have our APIs. So this is what we'll be testing. Now, if you look at here, I chose this because this is going to expose us to writing scripts that, I want to explain some things that happens in JavaScript and make you like a real automation engineer at the end of this class. So if you look at what we have here, so we're going to be using this endpoint for our API. Remember this, we have / before this API. So what this means is that we have a base URL that comes in before this / and that base URL, whenever you are working on an API and you have a / before other subscript that comes up, other this whatsoever that comes up at the end, once after the /, you know that there's a base URL somewhere. So that base URL will be given to you by your API developer. And for this case, these are base URL, right? Because we're working directly online. So if you go to any site where you have to test your API and you see this, you don't need to look for anybody to ask for base URL. You see this / and then followed by other things. Just come here, this is your base URL. Good. So you pick that base URL and / add this to the base URL, and that gives you your endpoints. So I'll go to Postman. I'm not sure why this is showing, but let me. So you can still go through this API and test with it. It's for testers, so just use this for your testing. So this is the send OTP. Let me remove this. I have to remove this environment variable because this is not okay. Don't worry. I'll remove this. Good. So this is what we have. This is what I was trying to explain here. This is what we have, right? So this is the base URL. So I'll pick this base URL and just bring it here and put here. Good. So here I've already automated this. So I'll remove this and put a normal email, sam@whatever.com, and then I will send. Let me remove this script. I don't need this. So this was done while I was teaching Postman automation. So forgive me that is here. Okay. So I will send now. Why am I getting this? This script is, I didn't save something. Let me just create a new one. Don't need to waste our time. Add a new request. Good. So this is a post. Now let's go to the documentation, please. This is a post. As you can see, it's a post. So I will choose here a post request, right? So this is the method. Normally, when you are working with APIs, you have different method. Your post method, your get method, your delete method, your put. So the difference, I just want to explain this too, which is more common, or maybe I'll just add delete. So for post is when you are sending an information to the database. Take note of that. You are sending an information to the database. It's a post. Now, for example, let me give you instance. I want to actually I want to fill a form. I'm filling a form and I put in my name, Sam Okolo, and then I send. For me, I'm sending it. Once I'm sending is a post request. Then get is when I'm fetching an information from the database. Are you getting me? So I want to get an information like I go into a system and I want to fetch the number of blocks that they have, right? You are fetching an information. You know, when that block is coming up, you are fetching the information. It's a get request. Then we have delete. Delete is when you want to delete answers for itself. When you want to delete, these three are key, right? So take note, especially this post and get. So when you are sending an information, it is a post request. When you are getting an information, it is a get request. So take note of that. And this is where you select all of these. So in the documentation, we've been told that this is a post, and it makes sense because we are sending our email to the database to now give us an OTP in return, right? So it's a post request, and we're going to have this, then slash this send an OTP. So in the body, we have this body, email@sam.com, and that will be all. So we send. I think the server, what is going on? I shouldn't. I see what the issue is. Still having this. I'm not sure for the raw JSON. I'm not sure why this API has been working perfectly fine before now. So, but I'm not actually sure why it is failing at this moment. Maybe I'll have to go look at my own code. So this is not happening here. I have to go back to my code and see what is happening. But then, is someone raising hand? Now for you, this is a request. Do not allow. Is someone raising hand, please? While I'm checking.
No, there's no hand.
Okay. Wow. Even the one I had before is not running, which is weird. This is what I
Yeah,
had
so
before.
if it's a 405, are you sure it's a post request?
It's a post request, yeah.
Okay.
It's a post request from the documentation. It's I'm the one that developed it. It's a post request. So wow, it means that shit, this is gonna be an issue. I will just have to look for another API that I can use right now, which is weird for me. This is so annoying and so weird. Let me save this. Jesus Christ. Okay. So let me look for an API that I can use. JSON placeholder. Thank you. Let me just quickly look for an API I can use the documentation because we have to, yeah, we have to get an API for us to test. And oops. Okay, so I want to use this. So we have this. Let me see what is going on here. I'm deleting this. Okay, from the documentation is a post request, method is post. So body, we are going to have this. Is a JSON file. So for JSON, for you to the body, you go to raw, select JSON, and we have this. So what we'll now do is to put this in quotation marks. We have full here. So this is how JSON format works. So you can see that the error is over. Now you might want to ask, why did I not put this one inside the quotation mark? It's because one is a number and not a string. Take note of that. So when you're working with JSON format, take note of this, and you're in your Postman. For strings, you put them in quotation mark. For numbers and Boolean, for numbers and Booleans, you don't put them in quotation mark. I hope I'm clear. So let us hit this and see. Good. This one, I think, is my API that is having issue. So I will work on that later on. So now we have this, and let's see what we have. Here. Okay, we have title to be this. We have body to be bar, and we have okay, so if we change it, the challenge is that, let's see, if we have title to be API, this is also a mock data. So we have this API testing, but this API testing does not go to the database. You just get it as you are sending it. You get your response that you are saying. I don't know if I'm making sense. This is a mock data. This that I've put now in this title does not go to the database. I don't know if I'm communicating, please. Hello? Good. So let's now go and automate this process in our API, in our Playwright, right? Just that this is not actually going to give me what I want. Gosh, it's unfortunate that this is not. Okay, nonetheless, because automating this is literally nothing. I want to take us something. Now, if you look at this one, nonetheless, if you look at this, let's work with this. If you look at this one, on the request body, an email, I don't have JSON placeholder where automatic email is in the field, because I want to use that email to teach you guys something, which is very, very key in dynamic request body. I want you to know, when you have a field that is dynamic, how you handle it in Playwright. So this does not have it, and it's something that I want people to go home with today. Now, for this email is dynamic. Why is it dynamic? It's dynamic because each time you hit this endpoint, a new email should come up. You understand what I mean? So it recognizes you by your email. So two people cannot have the same email. So if you are using an email that it has used before, it just logs you in as that former user. Now, if a new user comes in with another email, it logs you in as another user. So it means that the email is unique and this email is dynamic. And how do we handle that in Playwright? What you do is that you create a function that will generate these dynamic emails for you. Do you understand? So that function, once you create that function, it generates the dynamic email. Now, in your spec file, which is your test dynamic set, all you now need to do is to call this function so that this dynamic email will first of all come up as your request body as seen in your when you are running your manual testing in your Postman. It will first of all come up, then it will pick that email that you have set and then run and send you your response. Then you can now assert those response. Am I making sense, please? So far, are you guys following me? Or I've lost you people? If there are questions, please just let me know. Good. So now I want us to go and look at how we can set these dynamic emails or dynamic file. So we'll go to our now here is where we write our test file. If you see it here now, they wrote example.spec.js. So when we have an issue where we have to write a different function, that's actually why I want to put this, because it's key in your testing. People come across this. When you come across this, you should be able to say, okay, I've learned it through this process somewhere, you know. So all you need to do is to create a different folder. And I will call that folder, let me just create it in your parent folder. I'll call it utils or utility, whichever. I'll call it utils. And then I want to generate an email. So I'll say I will create a new file that generates new email. So I'll say image generator .ts. This is where I want to write my function. Take note of that. This is where my function should be, right? So I want my function, that function that will generate this different emails. This is where I want it to be. And so in JavaScript, it's quite simple. We have two ways of writing function. Either you write your normal function, there should be no, okay, ask your question, please. Excuse me.
Please, you said you are using JavaScript, so but you are saving as TS. So that's what I want to call your attention to.
Thank you. I'm so used to TypeScript, so forgive me. I'm sorry. Man, thank you for bringing this up. So I can't remember when last I wrote JavaScript, you know. Okay, so we will, so this is the normal function that we will call. Now this function, you see, it's showing me error here. And why is it showing me error? Because the function has to have a name. Do you understand? I have to give the function a name. So here, I will give it generate random email. So because that is actually what we want. We want to generate random email. And then now I will, inside this function, what I'm going to do is I will create a variable that will hold different emails. There are so many patterns, there are so many ways to actually do this. I want to do this in a more simpler way that everybody will be able to follow. I could use math.random. Those who have done JavaScript will understand very well, but if you've not done JavaScript, it will mean a lot that this course might not even enter at the end of the day. So what I want to do here is to create a variable that will hold different emails. Now, when I now use math, still going to explain the math.random, but it will make more sense when I create it in a variable that has an array of different emails, right? So that I don't confuse the new beginners. So I will say const. Now in JavaScript, we have different ways of creating variables. We can use const or let. Now in our older version, we use var, but please don't use var again. It's no longer, it's not a good practice. It's no longer in use. This is not why I'm here. I'm not here to teach JavaScript, but so for you to create variable. Now, what are actually variables? Variables are, they hold their containers that actually hold the whatsoever you are computing, right? So it helps you to hold every computation that you've done or whatsoever value that you want to hold inside that variable. It holds it for you. Now, instead of you at the end of the day to actually be using all of those long values, once you just call that variable name, it references everything that is you have put inside that container. It references it and then gives you whatever you want from it. So we want to name this variable email list because I want to generate different email lists. And it's going to be a variable. It's going to be an array. What is an array? So an array, how do I put it now in a very lower terms? So I'm trying to actually also teach JavaScript while I'm doing this, because I understand that a lot of persons are new here. So an array actually hold so many things in between. So you can hold your strings, hold your boolean, hold it's used to hold so many things inside. Now, if I want to have just one email, let me explain it better. If I want to have just one email inside this variable, I will just say email at sam@example or whichever.com. I don't need to put it into an array because it's just one. But once I want to put more than one, then it has to go into an array. It becomes an array of emails. Do you understand? So, and this is the symbol for array. So, because I want to put more than one email, so I'll say maybe example one at what should I use now? Okay, let me use ask.com. Now I want to have so many of these emails, right? And what I want is, at the end of the day, randomly pick one for me. Randomly pick one for me, use it. I will give them different names. So just take note. This is example one, this is example two, this is three, this is four, and this is five, this is six, this is seven, and this is eight. Let's just stop here. So let's stop here. So I have emails from
Yes,
one.
example
Example what, please?
6 in two places.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So you have 1 to 8. Let's just do 1 to 5 for simplicity's sake, please. Okay, so we have 1 to 5, right? Now, remember, my explanation is, if you log in with an email that is existing, it logs you in. If it's not email that is recognized, it logs you in also as a new user. For the older email, it logs you as an old user. So this function will be picking emails at random. For the first time it picks one, it logs in as a new user. If it picks it again, it logs in as an old user. If it picks this three for the first time, new user, again, old user. So we already understand that. Now, the next thing is where I will now write my function to carry out this event, to pick this thing at random, right? So I will say, now, I want to show you something in JavaScript. In array, arrays are indexed. What do we mean? We reference them by their index, we don't just count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So this is index 1. So in the 0, the first one is 0 index. Take note of that. Why the second one is index 1. The third one is index 2. And the fourth one, index 3. The fifth one, index 4. Right? Good. So we have length 1 to 5. And what is it called now? So if we add another one now, assuming we add another one now, we say example 6 at ans.com. So this will give me what now? This will give me what? Index what?
Index 5.
God bless you. So the length is -1, the index. Take note of that. We have 6 lengths here now. 1, I want you to take note of, because at the end of the day now, as I'm taking this Playwright, I have to also be teaching JavaScript alongside, because though I didn't actually prepare for it, but it becomes necessary. Hello, someone is saying something.
Thank you. Thank you. Michelle, I'm fine. That's good. Michelle.
Can we mute this person, please? So, thank you. So it becomes necessary for me to explain these things, because we have a lot of persons who have not done JavaScript before. So the length, if you check this now, we have length of 6, but index of 5. Take note of that, because we'll use this. That's what I'm explaining this. So now I want to reference. So when you want to reference, if I want to call example 3, for instance, you know what I will do? I will call it by its index. Take note. I'll call it by index. If I call index 2, example 3 comes up. So this is how you call whatever the value, whatever you have in an array, by its index. Take note. So now I will say random, what should I put now? Okay, I want to get it by its index. So I'll say random index. Now is equal to, this is where it now becomes, where we'll now move math dot random. So I'll say math dot random. Now, why am I using, this is a method in JavaScript. Why am I using this math.random? Now, let me finish it. Math.random times, I will explain, this email list times this email list, copy it, dot length. So this, now, excuse me. So now I have this. This is the explanation. I want us to do some mathematics here. We're going to do it together, all of us. So that we can explain. I think that is the best way I can just come up with this explanation, so that everybody at the end of this class will get something. So let me explain. Let me look at this. Remember, I told those that this length is 6, right? So it means that, let me put this in comments so that we understand. So it means that email list dot length, if the length is 6, it means that email list dot length is 6. Is that clear enough? We got that, right? Hello?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. So the email dot length, the email list dot length is 6, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 6. Now, we'll now say math.random. What does math.random does? It gives us decimal in between 0 to 1, and a 1 that is a whole exclusive. Inclusive 0, exclusive 1. What do I mean? It could give you 0.0001, 0.01, to all through to 0.9, 0 point whatever to 0.9. It does not give you 1 as a whole, right? So that is math.random. Multiply by the length. So let's do it. Let's say, for instance, I want us to understand that this is not just magic, but the logic behind this code that I'm putting on here, so that when you are writing code, you understand what you're actually writing. You don't need to just kind of cram it, right? So let's say it gives me, when I just told you this math.random, each time you run it, it gives you a random number that is 0 point, right? So let's say I run it and I get 0.73. For instance, I'm just trying to come up with something, right? Now, I now say multiply it by, this is where you use the multiplication, multiply it. I'm getting error because I did not put this in comments. You see, so it's trying to run this code and it's telling me that this is error. I don't understand what you're trying to do. So I say multiply this by the length, which is 6. So do we have anybody with calculator, please? Just do this fast for me. Please, hurry up. 0.73 multiplied by 6. What are we going to get? Or should I use my own calculator? Where's my phone?
4.38.
4.38.
4.38. 38.
Okay.
4.38.
Good. So this is 4.38. Good. Now we've gotten 4.38, right? This is where it becomes. So this is what I'm going somewhere. What I want to get at the end of the day is the index I want to call, because I want this thing to be picking at random. Pick one at random. Pick one at random. Each time you run, pick one at random. So I've gotten 4.38. But look at our index. Remember I told you we're going to use this thing. Look at our index. Our index is in whole numbers and not in fractions. Now we've gotten fraction. You got the point. So there's another thing in mathematics, and sorry, excuse me. There's another thing method in JavaScript that will remove this fraction and give us the nearest whole number, and that is math.floor. Do you understand? So once we just put it, what we'll now do is to put all of this, because all of these now will now say, okay, math.floor will come here and say, how do I put it again so that we'll just understand? So let's do this. Let me break this up. So I'll say math.floor is a method, right? Now, all of this should now be inside that method because I want it to cut off the fraction that everything I've computed here has given me. So math.floor holds it. What math.floor does, I've already explained, so I don't need to repeat myself. It takes away those fractions and gives you the nearest whole number. So this does its own, which I've explained here, and give me this. The math.floor cut this off and give me 4. Now, with math.floor, and I get 4. And what now happen is this index now is calling math.floor. Math.floor has this embedded inside it. So what now happens is that when I call this variable random index calls math.floor. Math.floor, okay, math.floor, what do you have? Math.floor say, hold on, no, I'm coming. It asks math.random times email length. What do you have? Email it. This one runs and generate this and say, okay, I have 4 point something something again, right? 4.3 whatever, I don't know. And he said, I have this, right? Math.floor, okay, you have this. Okay, I remove that and gives you and hold 4. So it holds 4 and it throws 4 to this. So when this one throws 4, this one will now come here and look for number 4, which is 4 index. That this 4 is what random index will now come and look for. Which index in this list is 4 is example 5. It will throw down example 5 for us. So at the end of the day, we'll pick example 5. I don't know if I'm making sense. When you run it again, remember, it's randomly generated. When you run it again, it picks another number like this. It multiplies by the length 6. It gives you this answer dot something, gives you something something dot something something. Math.floor, remove a fraction, gives you the nearest whole number. It checks here which index is in that nearest whole number. If it's 1, it picks this. I don't know if I'm making sense. Hello. Man, am I communicating, please?
Yes, you
Yes.
are.
Okay, thank you. So that is actually how we have this. Okay, so I think I've been able to explain this well. Now we now have this random. So we can now look at this. So, but at the end of the day, we still have to call now. This will not, if you look at this now, it's not highlighted. Why? Because we have not used it, we have not called it, right? So at the end of the day, we say return, excuse me, we return email list, return this, and inside this array, remember I told you this email list is having an array. Now, by default, if I want to call example 1, I'll just say array 1. Sorry, array 0. I'm sorry, because it's the index 0 index, right? Example 1. If I want to call, so if I put this thing like this, do you know what will happen in my code? Every time it runs, in fact, this one is useless if I put it like this. Because this one will generate, but nothing is happening. It's not being used. I did not call the variable. I'm not using the variable that I created for it. So if I put it like this, it means that I am hard coding the index I want it to be picking. So each time it's trying to be picking example 1 for me. And then if I put 4, each time it runs, it will be picking what? Example 5, and so on. But I don't want that. I don't want that. I want it to randomly pick one from this list. And that is why I have done all of this computation. And all of this computation, I put it inside this variable, random index. So each time I now want to pick anything that happens inside this computation, I just reference the variable that I've called, which is random index. So I will bring in random index here. Do we now understand? Have I confused the newbies here, or do you people understand my explanation? I will be happy to, go back and explain if you just don't understand. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good. So at this point, each time this code runs, it's very simple now. We now understand that this will be called. We did the mathematics and saw how this code runs and generate all of this. It picks this index. So all we just need to do is to export it so we can use it in another file. So we could say module.export. And what are we exporting? This. We're exporting this. You can see that this one is not highlighted yet because we're still not using it. So we'll export this. And you can see it's highlighted. It's now ready to be exported. What do I mean? It's ready to be used. You can call it anywhere you want to use it in your file later. So this is how we generate random, anything you want to just generate at random. You could do that using math.random to actually pick times the length. Are you getting me? Then if you have to remove pick by index, let's assume now you have so many inside the index, you can just use math.flow. So all these things, I think I've been able to explain how they function. It might not, tomorrow you want to use it, might not really be in this, in something that related to email, but tomorrow you understand how these things actually work, right? Now we can now go to our test and write our test. Let me know if we are just ready for that or we have any question, please. So far from everything I've said from beginning, is there any question? Is there anything you are confused? Let me know, or we are good. You want me to go forward? Please, everybody, ask your question, and because we are just on the last, almost on the last stage now. Hello.
Okay, yeah. While we await questions, if there are any, I know there was a question in the chat from Abimbola as to what math flow does when we have 2.96 as the value? Will it round it up? Is it actually rounding up, or it just ignores the values after the decimal point and gives the whole number? So is it rounding up to the nearest whole number, which would be 3, or is it just ignoring the decimals and returning 2? She gave an example in the chat. Then I think there was an issue with, or a question on installation, but we've advised that the person should just follow through and rewatch the recording for the installation part. So it's just the math flow question.
Okay, let me get the math.flow question. I'm trying to look at the chat, sorry.
It's fine. It's the second to the last and the last question. From Abimbola Samson. Can you see it?
Okay, what if we have yes, so it will round it to 3, the whole number of 3. It will round it to the whole number of 3 and then move it, pick 3, right? And if we have 4 point, like we had 4.3, it gave us 3. So that is actually what happens. Do I have your... Can I move on now? Do we still have people in the community,
Yes,
please?
please, you can go on.
Okay, so now we can go to our test and see what happens. I want to clean up this place. It's quite messy. Okay, so yeah, so this is okay. So now for our test, I just want us to, so we're going to delete this. We no longer need this. This was for testing purpose. Move to trash. So here, this test example came in when we ran this test, right? So this is what how Playwright works. So here I will say send OTP .speak.js. Oh shit, forgive me. .js. Okay, so now we have our test page that we are going to be working with. So the first thing we're going to do is to import this test. So say const paste, and we are also going to import expect because we'll be carrying out some assertions in this page, so to be equal to require. So we use we'll actually import this from Playwright, right? So say at Playwright, yeah, because we are bringing this from Playwright modules because we've installed Playwright in our in our project file. Now, the next we're going to import is this function here, right? Now, if you look at this function, it has a class name. The function is generate random email. So we want to import this generate random email. That is why I spotted it here, so that it can be imported, each time we want to use it. So I will import this because we're going to use it in this page. So where am I importing it to? So I'll say require. Now I have to give and I have to trace the page, the folder where it is, and then pick it so that it will be able to get it from there. So I'll use my ... // and what do I have on my /? Nothing. Not sure why this is actually not picking, but / utils. Oh shit, there's something that I'm not doing right. It should be in quotation mark. Exactly. Sometimes this thing happen. Did I name it? It should be util, not util. / utils. Exactly. Now I pick the folder and then / I get the name here. Good. Now the error is gone. So we can now start our test. Now in Playwright, you start your test by also writing a function, right? Take note of this. You write your function, and this function actually requires, if you remember when we started, I told you that there are two different ways you write functions, either the conventional way or you use your arrow key. So what happens when you use your arrow key is that you remove that name function and then replace it with just an arrow. And I will show it here. So we've already used the other one function. So maybe this one, I will show you how you use an arrow function. So you see how both work. So we'll say test. Now the first call here is actually what the project is all about. So we want to send OTP. Then we'll now put comma, right? And then we will put the next call is now the function. But something happens here in Playwright, and I want to explain this also in JavaScript. So we're going to be using async await. If we don't do that, what will happen is that your code is going to be running at random if we don't use async await. So for JavaScript, those who have done JavaScript already understand what I'm saying. So if we don't, but if we use async await, we are telling the Playwright, okay, we want you to run this first. When you run this, wait for it to just hold your answer, because you know how test runs. The first stage might need the second stage needs the output from the first stage, and like that. So because of that, you have to use async await so that second stage can wait for the first stage. Do you understand? Then whatsoever result you get from the first stage, it uses it to run, and the third stage waits for the second stage. If not, all of them will just run in parallel like that, and the whole test will fail, because those who needs the product from the other ones will not get them. Everything will just start failing. I don't know if I'm making sense. So for us to actually work with that, we use async await. So wherever you see async, just know that await is going to come in between. And this is actually what it does, right? So we'll just say async. We're going to put a value there. So we'll come here and then put our function, and this is it. So in place of normal putting your function, you just put an arrow key. That is what happens for arrow functions, right? So I want to create a variable quickly, and I'll call it email is equal generate email at random. It picks this for me because I want it to import that method for me, right? Since it's a method, I'll close it with this. Take note of that because it's a method. Import it, match it, and bring it for me because I'm going to use the email. So next is my response. Is somebody asking question? Hello? Okay.
You can
So
go on. Don't think.
I can-
I think it's a mistake.
next is my response. So now I'm going to put the response, the link to my response that I'm expecting, right? So because it is in that response that I'm actually going to be testing. Is that response I will be testing, right? So I will now say response await. You have to await everything that has happened here before the response begin. So await, what am I awaiting? I'm awaiting my request. Look at it. Are you getting me? I'm awaiting this, my request. And that request, what method is it? Is it a get method or a post method or a delete method? It's a post method. So this is actually how you write your API test on Playwright. Now, I can now enter in the API key, the API URL. So I will just go to that API URL and pick it. So remember that is a string, so I'll put it inside this quotation mark. Now, once that is done, I will now put my data. Which data is it working with? The data is working with is email. So I'm going to call this email. Now, I'll put my data. This email that I've brought in from here is what I want it to work with. So I'll just copy this email and then put it. You can now see that this is now highlighted. So this is actually how you write your automation, your API automation in Playwright. So because you have to reference your response. Now we have written a variable giving all of this. If you look at this response now, this response is not yet in use. We're going to use it now when we start expect, when we start our assertion. That is why if you check here, we also called expect here because we're going to use it to assert. So the first thing we'll do here now is to status code. So we're going to say expect response. Just like in your Postman, you say expect JSON response body to be this. So now here we've called expect response dot status. The status to equal what? To be 200. So that is the first test we'll run here. So Now let's run this. I'm not actually, let's see what happened, considering that it's failing from the postman. So, but let's see, npm run API. Yeah, it's failing from the postman, which is actually giving me an issue. Well, considering that it's failing from postman, I'm not expecting it to run here. I think Udemy, I might have to work on that, so we could maybe have an extensive class on this test, because there's other tests I want to run here, but invariably that API is having issue. I have to fix it, then we can have extensive class on the assertions. There are so many I want to put on here.
Can we replace the endpoint itself with a normal
But
sample endpoint, like a request or
okay, so let's do this. Let's see if we can use that other one, that JSON placeholder. This one. So let's go to our postman, and yeah, so let's use this. Let's use this and go to, somebody's raising hand. So I want to work with this. Yeah, you can ask your question.
It's not a question, sir. I think there's on the first line, I think there's an S that shouldn't be there. Maybe it was a typo error.
Where?
In your import statement, that's tests.
Online what, please?
One.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That is actually a very big a good eye for me. I appreciate that. So let's see if it's going to, oh wow. Thank you very much. So let's see. What just happened? npm run API. Yeah, it's still not going to, because response await request. Yeah, it's referencing this this API. So let's use this one that I have here that has worked. So we put in this. And what is the data we are expecting? We are expecting, let's go to our postman. Oh shit, sorry, this. So we have title, we have body, and we have user ID. So this it means we'll no longer be using this. And we're not using this email, so I'm commenting that off. So say response to status to be, when we click on this, shit, this postman. So we have 201 here. Can someone just mute, please? Okay, it's telling me that request is not defined. So let's see what is happening. Okay. I see where the issue is. I see where the issue is. Okay, so it's saying that request was not, let me run it again. So we will see the error together. API. I think there was something I said I was going to come back to, but I actually didn't come back to it. And I started running which is, so if you look at this, look at the error that is bringing in. It's saying, if you look at the error, it's saying that, so I understand what happened here, because I said, if you remember, I said, when I put this as sync, where's as sync? When I put this as sync, I said I was going to come back to this, when virtually I actually forgot, and we're having this error. It's saying that, where is it? Request is not defined, and that's exactly what is happening, because request is not defined in my async. So I want this request here. So putting it here, that's where I omitted that, because, and I did that on purpose initially. So I said I was going to come back here, but unfortunately I forgot after writing all these lines of code. So we can clear npm run API. So now it has passed. Do we understand? So if you look at this one, at this API that is working here, let's go back to our API. So what I did here was let me go back to this. If you look at our API that is working here, we have our status code to be 201, and that is exactly what I put in here. So let's go back to that. Let's go back to this one, and see if we're still going to have the same response now. And I want to copy the endpoint, put in here. And let's see. npm run API. Yeah, the endpoint is actually having issues. So it's very obvious now that this endpoint is having issues. So let's just let it be. I'll work on it later. So, but I believe that you've gotten the knowledge on how you automate API. So let's just return to Control C this. Of course, because it's not working on Postman, so we shouldn't just expect it to work here, right? And I'll comment this off, and I'll comment this off. Okay, so this is actually how you automate your endpoints. Now, I've used this to show you how you can actually pick something, generate a random field. And then for this is for if you want to automate the endpoints directly, your API directly. This is actually what you'll be doing. So we have this. Your post, if it's going to be a GET request, you put your method here, your request, and then the API that you want to hit, and then you can now carry out your assertions that you want. Please, do I have any question? So we are still going to assert the body, but before we start asserting this body, which is these sections, we are going to work on this section. We're going to assert this to say, to assert this is going to be a bit difficult because remember, this is not a mock data. So we don't have the data that is coming directly from the API. But let me get the questions you have. Then we can work something out. Do you guys understand what has happened here? Is it clear enough? Do you have any understanding, any confusion, any questions you want to throw? And let's see what we can come out with it. Hello?
Hello, guys. Are there any questions? Now is the time you can raise your hand or unmute to speak. And for those who are asking about the recordings, for everyone who registered for the class, they'll get the recordings shortly after the session. If you did not register using the Luma link, I've just dropped it in the chat.
We have passed our 2
Yes.
hours. Yeah, so maybe let me just entertain small question because I have another training later today too.
Okay.
Okay.
There's
My question
on that.
Sorry. Hello, Udemy, you were saying something?
Yes, I said there's a question in the channel from Patrick.
Yes. Someone was asking questions. Some people raise hand. Let me just attend to them. Okay. I could go through the question in the channel later. Yeah, JD, you raised your hand up.
Yes. Okay, so can we go back to the Visual Studio Code? That's what my question is. What I can see is your Postman. My question is on the automation we did on VS Code.
Okay. Is it on the Postman or VS? Okay, I'm still on.
No, the VS. Yeah, you're still on Postman.
I'm still on Postman, yes.
Okay, so I kind of got confused when we were switching, but I think I get it now. If I just focus on the same placeholder API we decided to use. So far I understood what you did, but my question now is on the folder structure. So if what we have now is for one request, which is the post. So if I need to do other ones, you made mention that if I need like a get, all I need to do is to change most of those things, like where I have posts, change it to get. The status, of course, will be different. Now, my question is, would that be another file, or would they all be in the same file?
Okay, so it depends. So it depends if you want to put them in the same file. They can all be in the same file, but now in different tests.
Okay.
Do you understand? So this one now is on this test. So it's all depend on how you want to structure your test. Do you get?
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to be in the different file.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Are we having another person raising hand? Udemy. Do we have any hands up, please?
Yes,
Okay, let me go
Batman's hand
through
is
the.
up. Batman's hand is up.
The person can unmute, please. Who? Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So I wanted to say that we can actually still assert the response.
Because since we are the one giving the request, we can just verify that, and we can see from Postman that whatever we put there as the request is given back as response. So we can still validate those things back. So that
Yes,
we'll
yes.
be able to benefit from learning how to do assertion of the responses.
Yes, you can do that. So I'm going to put that through, but we'll just do like one or two and see how that works with us. So any other question? Okay, so let's just see. Let's just assert the response that we have here. You were saying that there were some questions for me. Someone is saying, can you copy? Is there any way okay. I'll try and do that. I'll send Udemy the link which she can share with you people. Udemy, maybe later you can just remind me. Okay. Hello. Are you guys hearing me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Someone is saying, can we copy the
Like the email generator, the code that you so that was
so later I will share it with you, so you send them the link.
okay. But Banner's hand is up again.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't lower it. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, it's too loud. You said?
Okay, he
Sorry,
said
I
he
didn't
didn't know
lower
that
my
the Izon
hand.
is up.
We are good. So far here we are clear here, I believe so. Okay, so for us to assert this, try to navigate through. So just look at the body. Maybe we can just look at the title and the body to have what we expect it to have, and see how we can do that on. So we'll say here I want to create a variable that's so that it could reduce the stress, or so I'll say, let me create a variable for it. So I want to put it on the body and say await. What am I awaiting response? I'm awaiting the response. Of course, it's going to be the JSON. Whatever response that I get here is JSON format. Take note of that, right? So we put, excuse me. So now I've gotten the body, or do I put it, let's put it response body so that you understand better. Let's put it response body. Good. So I've created a variable response body on this. So this is the response body that I'm getting. Taking note, and it's in JSON format. If you look at it, it's in JSON format. So I have to put it in JSON format because that is what it is. So now, for me to now do my insertion, all I now need to do is to say expect. So this response body dot, what am I asserting? Look at it. I want to assert title. So to have this, what was the original we have full title. Since is this good to have this full, so we will go here and say the title, right? So we'll say to contain, to contain this. What do I want it to contain? Is a string full. So let's run and see. Let's see our error. Receive value must not be null, undefined. Has value undefined to contain full. So others pass, but this one so I'm still having this.
I think you changed it to full the last time. Something else.
You said? Yes, I
I think
changed it,
you
but
changed it from full to something else the last time.
it's not it's not it's not it's not it's not read data. So that thing I changed it to does not actually, it doesn't recognize it. Right? Okay, so what I will do is let's do
Excuse me,
this.
please. What was the body on the request that you sent?
I want
The body
that
on this
body,
particular request.
that body is not, that body is, wait, I'm coming. So I have this body, response body.
You
to
didn't
have,
send anything. No, you know it's a post
I
request.
didn't even put anything here, so I have to
So
put
you
it.
didn't put. So if you didn't put anything, you might just first want to console the response body, see what it returns. Then you can now make something out of it. But ideally, the request expects to have a body.
So that is what I will now be putting here. So I'll put data and we'll have, yeah, this. That is what I omitted here. So come here and have this. Yeah. Exactly. Good. So here we can now assert this. Perfect. npm run API. Perfect. So if you look at this here now, if we'll we have to put our reports. Where's our reports? Package.json. I thought there's a report tag to be HTML. I'm in somewhere else. Config. I have my report tag to be HTML. Okay, so the report is not generated. So I will say NPS. Let's go to Postman and see how we can generate a report if we don't have it by default. Sorry, not Postman, Playwright. NPS Playwright reports, I believe. So, but let's go to it and see for ourselves. To generate report, yeah. NPS Playwright show report. So let's see this. Okay, so we'll say npx Playwright show reports. Good. Now, when we click this, you can now see that we have our to be our, what is it called now? The status code is passed and to contain this, because now we've given it report. That was actually what I omitted, what I missed. I'm sorry for that. So here, send OTP. Yeah. So what happens here is that, very sorry, I omitted that because I just didn't put this body. So for you to put, because it's a post request, not a get request, is a post request, meaning that there must be a body. If you see our postman, look at our postman, there's a lot. If you look at the body here, there's body, right? So this body has to come into your script. It has to come into your script, right? So we're now, anything you put here is what you should be expecting here. So that's what we expect. So we can now also assert these other ones. We can now say expect, let me just bring this to down. Yeah. Expect body. This is title now. So say expect body to be bar. So can remove this and expect USID to be this, to be 1. So to be 1. At the end of the day, when we run our test, Control C, I have to cancel because it's actually still showing cancel. So I'll say clear npm run API. Yeah, this is failing. Do you know why this is failing? Let's go to our postman and see why it's failing. Look at it. User ID is 1. It's not a string. ID is 1. Let's look at our error. It shouldn't be containing, right? So we could just say
Equal.
to equal. So that's where the issue is, because we're not looking at string. So it should be. So see, what you are also learning here is how to trace your error handling. Right? When there's an error, you should look at it as pointing at line 20. And you see, immediately I just saw this, I just shouted, it shouldn't be containing, because I just put contain here, right? So we should just change it. We change it here. So it should equal 1. So this is how you actually manage your errors. Of course, you are human beings, you're about to make mistakes. So it should equal 1. So let's close this and then run again. Now it has passed. It's now equal to 1. Are we good? So this is actually how you actually write the automation for. So if we had just written this at first, we should have, of course, left here since, but I just needed you to get this knowledge on this, how to generate this email. And I think we've done justice to that. So now come in here. This one does not really take you much time. All you just need to do is to enter your post or get request, your method. If it's get, see, take note. If it's get, you don't need to put anything here, because you are fetching. Take note of that, right? If it's get, you are not putting anything here. But once it's a post, that was the first error I had, right? I omitted this because I had this and I wrote this and then went straight to status code. So I had to look at it and came back here, put the data that we have. Immediately the data came back, you have to put the body Can we use Playwright for mobile testing? No. Yeah, you can. You can. Yes, you can. You can. So when I say no, it's in quotes, right? You can, but I've not actually used it personally for mobile testing. I use Appium for use mobile testing because it gives me better experience. So I don't know. I've not used it, so I can't really tell you, but you can. I don't know the experience you'll be getting for using it for mobile testing. So I don't know if you've been able to get one or two from this class. If you're having any confusion, just let me know. I can still try my best to explain as much as I can. Okay, I think that would be all, except if there's anyone that has to say one or two.
Thank you so much, Samuel. Please, let's appreciate Samuel. He has gone way past the time that we've taken out of his time. So we should really appreciate him. He's giving us extra time. Thank you so much for breaking it down in granular details. We are truly grateful, and from the applause, you can tell that everyone has learned a thing or two and are grateful. Yes, so we go to Samuel Okolo's YouTube channel. Let me see if I can share it again.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, browser is closed though. Sorry, I'll look for a way. I'll share it on our community channel. I'll share the details, his details. He also runs a software testing community. I'll share more details in our ANSD Slack channel. So if you are not yet a member of the ANSD, please do endeavor to click on the membership link form I'm just dropping now. Once you fill that membership form, it will be reviewed by the director of membership, and then you would be added to the group. So I'll be dropping all of Samuel Kolo's links, YouTube channel, and more about his community in the group after this call because of time. Yes, I know at the start, for those who joined us at the start of the session, I mentioned that I had a gift for us. I think I'll just drop that in the community because of time, because I need to explain it. But invariably, it's a book. For those, how many of us were part of the impact-oriented software testing series we had some months ago, where we had Vincent, we had Chibuzo, and we had Jane. So if you were part of it, of that session, you know that it was a very insightful session. So I encourage those who have not watched that session to go back and read and rewatch it. Is on the YouTube channel. But born out of it is an ebook that was written by one of those speakers in person of Jane Badmos, and she's providing this ebook. It's called the TCC. Hold on, sorry. I'll be dropping the details shortly in the confident candidate. So it's for people who are struggling with interview questions, preparing for interviews, and basically showing your impact when it comes to interviews. And it's a remarkable book. I've gone through it to review, and she's providing it as a discount to all ANSD members. So I'll be dropping the link to where you can get the book and the code, the discount code to use. Sorry, I'm trying to edit it. Confident candidate, and the discount code for you to use. So you give me a minute. And it's all right. So the actual price for the book, there's no need for you to know that, but it's been discounted for us. The actual price for the book was 4,000, but we get a 50% discount for it. I'll be dropping further information about the book and reviews and all in our Slack channel. and WhatsApp channels. So if you are not a member of the ANST, please do well to fill the form. You'll be added to our respective communities, and you'd also be part of other interesting learning sessions like that we had today. Thank you once again, Samuel. I'm very sure we'll have a part 2 of this, as we have discussed, but I'll get back to you on specifics on that. But thank you so much for your time. And thanks to everyone for joining today's session. We're truly, truly grateful. See you on WhatsApp. Bye.